Hello, I'm Fulton County Commissioner William Bill Edwards. Welcome to the South Fulton Good Things Show. Today we are delighted to have as our guest Mr. Sean Kent, Project Director for TomorrowWorld. Sean, welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Good to have you. How much excitement have you created in South Fulton with TomorrowWorld?
We've created a tremendous amount. I mean, we were so overjoyed with how this whole event went. All the embrace that we've got from people locally, from the state, it's been wonderful.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your background, Sean.
My background? Well, I've got an interesting background because I've spent the last 15 or so years living in Europe. So I got to know the folks from Belgium who put together Tomorrowland, and just moved here a year ago to help set up TomorrowWorld. Okay,
so you're not from Belgium?
I'm actually not from Belgium. I'm originally from the U.S.
Yeah.
So I have a nice overlap. So I understand a bit the U.S., I understand a bit the European culture, and that's one of the interesting aspects here with bringing TomorrowWorld to South Fulton.
I thought something was wrong, because you didn't sound much like guys from Belgium, but even though you had that deal. How did working with you work with Cirque du Soleil?
Yes, yes.
How does that compare with what you did with TomorrowWorld?
You know, there's so many similarities. Cirque du Soleil being a premier event company, attention to detail, creative. That's the same as TomorrowWorld. The guys there in Belgium, they create really the most beautiful decorations, the most beautiful stages. And so it helped me a lot because I got to understand how to work with highly creative people.
The question I get a lot from a lot of people about TomorrowWorld is that their debut in the United States, and why South Fulton County? Of all the places they could have gone, why did they come to South Fulton County? You know,
Tomorrowland has been so popular these last 10 years since it was started. The last 2 years we had a lot of promoters in different countries and all around the world asking us if we could bring Tomorrowland to their country. We looked here in the U.S., and just through kind of our network, people got a hold of us and said, come down here to Georgia, come to South Fulton, there's a beautiful piece of land. And it turned out that the owner of the land is also from Belgium. And it didn't go vice versa. It was just a coincidence. So we came here because of the beauty, because it's a secluded area. It's very unlike any other festival in America, maybe even in the world, where it's really secluded. You feel like you're going to a different landscape, and that's really that's the primary reason why we chose South Fulton.
Was there any mass marketing that went along and to provide you for people coming to the site? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we had, again, we're so lucky to have the success of Tomorrowland. We had over 5 million people on Facebook who liked Tomorrowland. That's even more than people who like the Olympics, actually, in terms of Facebook. So when we started announcing that we'd take Tomorrowland into the world, we teased a lot of people. So in the early part of this year, there was a lot of teasers. Where will TomorrowWorld be? Will it be in America? Will it be in Brazil? And so a lot of people were talking about it. And then we announced, in the end of March, we announced it was going to be the U.S., and we announced South Fulton, and people just went crazy. Our Facebook here in America went from 0 in March to 750,000 people. That's a huge growth. So we really relied on social media to really get the thing started.
Talk to us a little bit about the different names, because there's Tomorrowland and TomorrowWorld.
Yeah.
Tell the audience the difference between the two.
Well, Tomorrowland is obviously the original, created in Belgium, taking place every year in July in Belgium, bringing around 180,000 people there. Very unique location, about 200 acres, so about half the size of what we have here in South Fulton. But that's where we premiere every year a brand new event, a brand new theme. TomorrowWorld the effort is to take that same magic that we've created there to other places in the world. So the U.S. is the first place that we'll take TomorrowWorld to, and now we're looking in the next 2 or 3 years of bringing TomorrowWorld to another place in the world. Yeah.
So you guys heard about this site in Belgium, and you decided, well, let's go take a look at it. What did you feel when you first saw it?
Well, we came in, I believe we came in August, September. Just over a year ago was the first time that we visited the site, and it was breathtaking. We want a site that's similar to Belgium, but this is really something, in my view, is a little bit better than Belgium because it's much bigger. You've got rolling hills, we have the forests, the location. So it was really, you know, you have that feeling when you know you've got it. You know, you're looking for an apartment, and all of a sudden you walk in and you feel it. When we came and saw this for the first time, you know, Brazil, South Africa, all these places which have beautiful locations. As soon as we saw this location, we were like, wow, this is it.
And I know you had a lot of, what was your top 2 reasons for it when you saw it? What were the top 2 things that affected you in your selection?
I think the top two, well, the first one was just the beauty. South Fulton, that whole area, as we were driving around here the whole year, building up, it's such a beautiful green area. That was our most important reason for being here. And I think the other one is just the welcoming. We had a great welcome from Carl Buchart, the owner, a great welcome from yourself, from others in government. Everyone was just so open and hospitable. So the feeling was there. Let's say the feeling was the most important.
The difference. What are the main differences you feel from what you do in Belgium and what you did here in South Fulton County?
I guess the biggest difference is the people that are coming. I mean, that's something that we can't control, obviously, but we made a major decision here in the U.S., which is to make TomorrowWorld a 21+ festival. So everyone coming into the festival needs to be 21 or older, and that creates a really special vibe. That's different than in Belgium. Belgium, it's 18+, so that was very special. And again, it comes back to the location, to the walkways, to the bridges that we've built. A lot of the stages and sets we've created in Belgium and imported them here. So we had 80 containers of equipment and decoration coming from Belgium to here. And we also created some special stages as well.
Well, I tell you, when you guys first came to me, it was overwhelming. I said, nah, that ain't gonna happen. It's no way. But tell me about your experiences with the government in terms of obtaining permits and variances and things of that nature.
We had, we have such a great experience, again, from our history of how important it is to work with local community, with local government, of all local police, really from the very beginning. So already in January, February, when we started, when we made the decision to come, we spent a lot of time in your office, in the mayor's office of Chattahoochee Hills. We already spent time with the police and fire because we understand the impact this has on local economy, on the local people. So it's part of our job also to help you to understand it, to educate you a little bit on what we're going to create here, some of the inconveniences we'll have on people. So for us, it was really important to take you through those steps. We didn't want to come in and say, let's have a permit and throw a festival. We want to. This is a long-term commitment. So, and I think because of that openness that we started with, I think you all, everyone around us, also became open, and it became a partnership really from early on.
Well, for me, the skepticism came when you first showed me a little video clip. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that's a bit much.
It's pretty overwhelming. I mean, seeing 35,000 people against one stage, that's a big surprise. But it happened here.
Yeah. Let's talk about the community a minute. I know that you all did some things to involve the community. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, one of the first important things that we look for is finding someone locally who can represent us and also is very connected to the community. So we put out a call for others to help us find someone local, and we found someone who lives in Fulton County. He also is a community member, and he knows the people in the area very well. So we had a number of meetings with the local community at the Cedar Grove Community Center, where we discussed what's going to happen to the local community. We created also a newspaper. So 3 weeks before we came, we created a neighborhood newspaper to explain to everyone their mobility plan, explain to them what would happen in terms of how many people would come. And we had a 1-800 number. We reached out to our folks over in Douglasville as well, because they're also impacted by the music. So we've implemented so many ways in which people could communicate with us and also inform them of what would happen.
Well, we're going to talk some more about that, but now we're going to take a quick break. So stay with us, and we'll be right back. Nearly 600 private security personnel were used over the 5 days of festival and camping.
Y'all ready for this?
Welcome back to the South Fulton Good Things Show. For those of you who have just tuned in, we have been speaking with Sean Kent, project director of TomorrowWorld. Thank you for staying with us for the second go-round, Sean. We've had an exciting conversation. We're going to talk a little bit more about TomorrowWorld, what we did in the past, and what we're going to do in the future. So that's very, very important. Buchart Farm, you transformed that into a dreamland. How? And tell the listening audience about how that was planned, the stages, the selection. How do you go by doing that?
Yeah, that's a very long and complicated process in many ways, because first we need to start off with obviously the map of the location. We we actually invested in a whole three-dimensional scale of the entire 500 acres that we're talking about, so that we could actually position the scaffolding that will hold the different stages. So that took some time. Then we had to decide where are we going to set all these stages. Then we had to decide how are we going to get people from each stage.
Yeah.
And this process took about 6 months because we would change our mind. We would look at where the sun is going down in terms of positioning the main stage. So all kind of things were taken into account.
Well, you had I visited all the stages, and all the stages had different themes. But the lighting and the water and the graphics, you know, and tell us about the DJs and who they were and where they come from all over the world.
Yeah, we had around 300 DJs from all over the world. We had 9 DJs here just from the Georgia region, from Atlanta region as well. We had a stage dedicated to trap music as well, which is a Georgia favorite. But we had the big names. We had David Guetta, we had Armin van Buuren, we had Calvin Harris, but we also had DJs from all around the world. So great American DJs, but also the really great selection of around the world.
Now the reports tell us that there were about 140,000 people in the audience for about 3 days. Is that pretty correct?
That's pretty correct, yeah. We actually had people coming in already on Thursday for the Dreamville camping experience, and that was already about 20,000 people. And then each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had a total of 46,000 people a day.
Okay. You had some people sleep on the site. Tell us about off-site accommodations. Did you have to go to the local hotels, let them know what was going on? Did you book up Atlanta? What happened?
Yeah, from really early on, from I think March, we had already been in touch with 8 different hotels around the airport, in the city, and also in Fairburn and around Fulton County as well. And yeah, we had, I don't know the exact number of nights, but we booked out all that we had planned, we booked out and even more. So we had about 3,500 people coming just with shuttles every day, back and forth to the airport and to Atlanta. So a lot of hotel bookings.
I tell you, first thing I saw, and I've never seen in South Fulton, I saw a cab.
You saw a cab, yeah.
Taxis in South Fulton, I was going, oh, I've never seen that. But, you know, nobody's always going to be 100%, and there's going to be people who are going to have some issues. But overall, what has been your response from the community?
We've had a really good response. We've had, during the period, there were some neighbors who were concerned about the sound. That we understand. That's something we tried to inform people about. We also had a sound measuring system, so we could find out where the complaint came from, and we could actually adjust the sound levels of that particular stage. So we're even that fine in terms of trying to adjust what we're doing in order to help the neighborhood. But we had great response. We had people come out 2 days before the festival. We had 2 tours, about 80 people per tour, to understand the festival, people who wouldn't normally come to the festival themselves, so they got to see what it was like.
Was some of those community people?
All community people, all community people. It was great. And you know, we were also happy with the traffic. We had special signs that were dynamically controlled, so if there was a big rush on one side, we could direct that traffic to another side. That system worked really well, and we were lucky. We didn't have, you know, 20,000 cars coming in one moment like you have at a concert or a football game or something. They all came steadily throughout the day, which meant less pressure on the local community.
With all this crowd, in your estimation, how many countries do you think were represented during those days?
Well, we had already in the pre-sales, we had over 75 countries represented, and I think in the final one it's probably over 80. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You all, I was amazed. You all tell the story of how the tickets were sold, and tell us about how people sat by their computers and waited for the time to come to buy the tickets.
Yeah, that's true. That was a really exciting time. We had a sale in March and we had another sale in April, and yeah, people were really waiting for it. And this year for next year, we already have a great feeling of how fast that's going to go, because, you know, the press coverage for this has been phenomenal. We're blessed with the amount of good things that people say about TomorrowWorld. That's what we wanted to get across to people: is TomorrowWorld isn't just a festival for kids. It's an experience. It's a creative experience.
Yeah.
It's about the details, and now that people are able to see that and talk about it, it's great to see that people understand it.
And you had to be 21. We talk about kids, but you had to be 21
Yeah.
to get in, and then your security. I mean, I went through 3 security checkpoints to get in.
Yeah.
How did that work for you?
Yeah, we always have great security at the gates when people come in. It's really important that people are, come and treat everyone with respect, treat themselves with respect. So security is important. We want people to understand that there are things that we don't accept. We're a zero tolerance festival. We don't accept the usage of any drugs of any kind in that way. So we take our responsibility to have very big precautions, to give a lot of information to people in advance. And when you go through security, we had canine units there as well, very effective. And it's just to make it the safest place you can have.
Okay, overall, what is your estimation of the success of the facility and the festival while you were here?
I mean, I think on every level, it's been incredible. I mean, mobility, working with local government, working with the community, the press. I mean, obviously with Carl Buchart. Now we're in the phase of cleaning everything up, making sure it's all brought back to its original state there at the farm. Mr. Buchart has a lot of horse events and activities coming up in the next month, so we want to make sure it's clean for that. And yeah, I think we're still in the afterglow of this whole experience. When you're building it, you don't realize to a certain degree how big it is, and then boom, it starts, and it's huge. And we're still in the afterglow. We're still now kind of planning how we're going to go for next year, because we do plan to come back. Yeah. And it was a big success on every level.
Okay, let's talk about next year. Let's talk about next year and the year, however long you're going to be here. I'm sure that you learned a lot. What are some of the things that you would do differently in the years to come?
I think first we would probably spend more time in local media in terms of marketing and promotion. We advertise a little bit later. I think now going ahead, I think a lot of people know about TomorrowWorld, so we like to inform them earlier on what's coming. I think we're going to work smarter with all the hotels and all the shuttles companies that we're using, because we had so many, working with so many hotels is a good thing, but we also want to, let's say, optimize that. And yeah, just getting smarter with our build. A lot of technical things we want to work on that will improve the speed of which we set up. But we're really happy with how it went.
I think that's one of the things that I would suggest when you guys come back is that maybe we should actually build an access road for the traffic, bringing in the caterers and bringing in the trucks. That would be a great idea, just to have an access road. You're going to be here for a while. To have an access road built. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a good point, because there are a lot of trucks, a lot of containers, a lot of service trucks coming in through those smaller roads throughout the area. So it's definitely something we can discuss, because we're here for the long term. So any investments we can make that are smart for the long term for us and for the community, we're definitely willing to talk about.
I think that's smart, because the roads that you the roads coming in were not designed for the 18-wheelers. And I know we're going to have to use them, but I think we need an access point, just service access, not for cars or anything like that. And I think that would make a world of a difference to a lot of folk. The sound we still will monitor. I know we will, and to make sure that people are comfortable. I haven't gotten a lot of negative. I've gotten some. Of course, you're going to have some. But I haven't gotten a lot of negative feedback on TomorrowWorld. And those that we did send letters or emails in, we're now talking to them on the phone, and then trying to get their ideas. You say you didn't like this, and just what do you think we should do better next year to make your quality of life better? Yeah,
definitely. And we're always open to hear those comments coming back from the community and reacting to them. And we see ourselves as a neighbor, for the next years to come. So we want to be an active part.
Well, Sean, it's been real great that you bought this festival to South Fulton County. We really appreciate it. I'm sure Publix and a lot of other stores appreciated it. And I understand that you're going to have an economic impact study done.
That's right.
And that will give some credibility to even more as you come in latter years. It was a great festival. I was out there twice myself. It's spectacular. I really, really enjoyed it. And thanks to you and all the guys from Belgium, Sammy and Bruno and everybody, for coming in and understanding. That's the important thing, that you must deal with the community. And I think you did a great job in terms of the community and inviting them in. So once again, thank you for all that you did for tomorrow.
Great. Thank you, too, Commissioner. Thank you.
That ends our show for today. For more information on the topic we discussed, please contact my office at 404-612-8230. You may also email me at william.edwards@fultoncountyga.gov. I also invite you to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which can be found on my website, southfultongoodthings.com. Thanks for watching, and be sure to catch us again next month when we bring you more on the good things that are happening in South Fulton County.